Okay, till that point everyone, see what we have done is just install MySQL setup and just double click on that file. I selected full. Okay, that full option is what I selected, and this is what I am able to see. Right. Just wait 1 or 2 minutes here. I think maybe just to get used to all these things. Initially, it might take some time. No problem. And one more point, even if any problem related to language and all those things, don't worry. Okay, you can ask your questions in English, Hindi, or Marathi. No problem at all. I know 3 languages, so that's not an issue. Mostly we'll be continuing in English. If required, just tell me language problem. I told you already, right? Now, can you please check Vedika? Is it fine, Vedika? It was because I joined from other device as well, just to confirm whether my sound is proper or not. That's why I joined from my other device as well. That's why that other device's voice was also there. But I think it is fine now, right? Okay, fine. Issue is solved. Okay, no problem. Fine then. So fine, everyone. I think you can see once we double clicked, I selected full, and now I'm able to see all these things. I told you already it is straightforward, everyone, but sometimes because of some of the prerequisites, if they are not there in your case, maybe you can get some problems. As we have, like, I think Komal is facing some issue, so might be possible. But let me tell you here itself, everyone, Windows 7 is not recommended. Okay, I think most of you are having either Windows 10 or Windows 11. So Windows 7 is not recommended. Even your Power BI will also not work on that one again. Or maybe if you go and if you try to install some packages, they will not work. So Windows 7, don't use it. Fine. So you can see everyone, all these things, MySQL Server 8.0.33. So here you remember 8.0.33 is our version, whatever we are using. Right? So all these things, MySQL Workbench, MySQL Shell, MySQL Router, ODBC, connectors are there for C++, Python, then connector net, documentation is also there, and sample examples and files. Okay. So just click on execute and you will be able to see that it's going to install all these things. In between, let me tell you once again, if anyone, any problem, you can ask the questions in English, Hindi or Marathi. Okay. I'll prefer you just let me know in the chat box. If you want to unmute, just let me know in the chat box as well. Okay. Any of these 3 languages are fine. Don't worry. Everyone is like here to learn. That's why don't worry at all. Fine. So generally, everyone, you will see once this MySQL server, MySQL Workbench and MySQL Shell is installed, other things will not take much time. So you can see here, if I click on it, you'll be able to see whatever is going on here, right? So which paths basically it makes use of. So you can see C program files and everything it is making use of, right? So why am I telling you all these things, everyone? Because sometimes if you see some problems because of certain files, maybe you can go and you can check it out, all these locations. Obviously, see, I am not saying that you should be an expert in like a DB and something like that, but at least we should know where the files are created, folders are created, because definitely it will help you only, because you are going to do hands-on. Right? So sometimes it might happen. Many times it will happen that you have installed MySQL properly and everything is running fine, but sometimes maybe that also is corrupted. So you need to go reinstall it once again. That is going to happen for sure, all of you, right? Because many of the times you will see that when we will connect Power BI to MySQL, you will see that there are certain things which are required. right? So we need to install some packages at that point of time as well. So, or sometimes you need to add certain files in some certain locations. That is why you should know where are like what are all the locations which it is making use of. So fine, I think it should be done, everyone. This MySQL shell, once it is done, other things will not take much time. So you can see this 52%, right? So otherwise you can see that I have not done anything. I just double click on that particular file, whatever we have downloaded, and it is just executing the scripts which are like by default there in the background. It is executing the scripts, and you will see that everything is done. Once these three are done, other things will not take much time. So you can see 57%, right? So if someone did not install it earlier, but if someone is trying it, I already shared the link in the chat box, everyone. You can just go and check it out. So see this particular link, all of you. Once again, I'll share it. Fine. Now see, once that MySQL shell is done, you can see that other things are not taking much time. Okay, fine. So I will click on next. So product configuration and all those things, do not make any changes. You don't have to do anything. Here I told you, like only one thing you remember, you in this port number. MySQL runs on which port number? 3306. Remember this one, everyone. Why? Because at the time of connectivity, maybe you will see that you will require this. 3306 is the default port number on which MySQL database runs. What is the port number and all those things? Those also will explore. Those points also will explore later on, by chance if someone is not aware about it. Now I can see that authentication method. There are two authentication methods it is showing me. Strong password encryption for authentication, which is recommended. You can see it's already selected, everyone. Or it is asking use legacy authentication method. So we'll go with whatever is recommended. We will not make any change here. And here, everyone, you can give any password, but I will recommend you just give the root password. Like I have seen many people forgetting about the password. So just ROOT is the password which I have given in my case. I will not add any user. Root is the user which I'm going to continue with, everyone, and I have given the password as root. So just click on next. I will not start MySQL server at the system startup because unnecessarily sometimes it might start even though I do not need it. That's this particular option which was checked, everyone. I will uncheck it. Fine. That's the only. Otherwise, if you even check it, no problem at all. Click on next. And yes, I'm going to grant all the access to the running Windows service and so on. Okay. So to the user, whatever root user is there, we are like accessing, we are going to grant the full access. That's the only thing. And fine, it's going to apply all these configurations. I will click on execute. So this will not take much time. You can see writing configuration files, updating Windows firewall rules. So try to understand. No one is going to ask you about Windows installation, everyone. But if you know, if you do all these things from the scratch, obviously it will make sense. That is the only reason why we are doing it. Fine. So you can see the configuration for MySQL Server 8.0.33 was successful. I'll click on finish, click on next. And here, everyone, it is asking me, okay, MySQL router configuration. So we will not make any change here. I will simply click on finish, click on next. And if I want to check it out, whether MySQL is installed properly or not. So you can see the username by default is root and password I already given. Like in my case, I have given the password as root, ROOT. If I go and if I click on check, it should show me connection is established or successful. If it shows me that message, that means MySQL is properly installed in my case. So you can see, everyone, connection succeeded. That means MySQL database is properly installed. See, I agree that it is not the only way to install MySQL database. There are other ways as well using which you can install MySQL database. Obviously, it's possible, everyone. You can go, you can use command line, you can use this one. But try to understand, okay, why are we learning about all these things? Because we want to go into, let's say, data analytics, business analytics, data science, right? So it's not your job to go and to configure each and everything. When you will go, when you will work in real time, obviously everything will be ready for you. If someone wants to go into the details, definitely you can. Why am I telling you this? Otherwise, if someone will say that, okay, can I install it like this? Yes, definitely. There are different ways to install MySQL database. It is not the only one way. But here you can see we are just downloaded a simple file, like an exe file, double clicked on that and next, and finish. straightforward way we have followed, nothing else. Okay. So yes, it is saying me that connection is succeeded. I will click on next and execute these scripts for configuration, whatever is remaining. So checking if there are any features installed that need configuration, it will just go and check it out. And here even I will click on finish, then click on next. I will uncheck these two options even. Start MySQL workbench after setup. I do not want to start it. I want to show it to you manually. That's why I uncheck that. And I do not want to start MySQL shell as well. Right now I don't need it. That's why I just uncheck those things. Otherwise unnecessarily it will start by default, right? So I will click on finish. That's it everyone. This is how we install MySQL database. Right now, I know that as I told you already, maybe you will face some problems. So always remember, even there is something like there are different resources everyone one can make use of. There is something like Stack Overflow, which we'll be using a lot whenever we are going to face some issues, right? So those who might face some issues, don't worry everyone, those will be solved. So can you see everyone here? I have certain options. I can go, I can start MySQL. So I just press Windows button. I clicked on, I just typed MySQL, and you can see I have something like MySQL workbench and MySQL command line. I told you workbench is like an interface, right? It will be used as an interface between the user and the database area, right? So you can see, but again, is it compulsory to make use of MySQL workbench? It's not compulsory. Again, here as well, you have a lot of ways to communicate with MySQL database. I am not saying that this is the only one way. Okay, I will show you through command line as well. So our purpose is to understand SQL queries. We want to practice SQL queries in such a way that whatever the environment in which you are going to make use of SQL queries, even you should be able to write it down. Like whenever there is a requirement to write down SQL queries, you should be able to write down. You should be able to fetch the data. You should be able to manipulate the data with the help of SQL. That's what our purpose is. We want to understand the concepts, because those concepts only will see that we are going to require in case of tools, something like, let's say, Power BI or Tableau or some other tools even. Whatever the tools you talk about, you are going to require all these concepts, whatever we'll be learning in SQL. So that way we want to understand it. Okay. Otherwise, SQL will be used everywhere. SQL will be used by developers, by database engineers, data engineers, DBAs, right? Analysts, and so on. So we want, where we want to focus accordingly, we will go everywhere. Otherwise, there is no end to anything you talk about. Okay, like talking about all these technologies. So see everyone, just click on this local instance and I will be connected to MySQL database. So root is the user, I will give the password root and just press enter. So this is the place everyone where we will be writing down SQL queries, right? So here, those who have already installed, you can check it out. The benefit of making use of something like MySQL workbench is that it is suggesting you, it is helping you, right? If someone is very much new, see, I know that SQL is not difficult. Many of you might be knowing about SQL, might be using SQL, might have practiced SQL a lot. So it's not difficult. Where the difficulties are going to arise even when you will be asked to write down the queries in real time. Why? Because sometimes you will see that there are a lot of tables, right? So going and learning about SQL queries is not a difficult task, everyone. But one should know the basics very clear, right? And sometimes it happens that some people are not at all aware about all these things. That's why each and everything we go and we try to discuss from the scratch. Okay, so those who are aware about something like this, just have some patience. We will go one by one. We will try to see all these things one by one again. Okay, so you can see show databases. So I told you already, benefit of making use of something like MySQL workbench is that it is suggesting you. So just go here, click here, and you will be able to see default databases here. You can see, right? So all these are like databases: information schema, MySQL, performance schema, Sakila, SIS, and World. These are default databases which are present in MySQL. Or even if you talk about any other database other than MySQL, you will see that there are certain default databases which are by default present. So here as well, they are there even. If you want to check it out, to which database you are currently connected. So you can see there's a command select. Now MySQL, what it does even, it makes use of certain functions. Something like this, maybe you might not see in case of Oracle. That's a difference. Okay. So give semicolon. If I want to enter this particular line, even how can I enter that? One way I showed you already, just select this and click on this or put your cursor here on this line or here and then press Control Enter. Can you see everyone? Right now you are connected to null. That means right now you are not connected to any database. So by default you are not able to see any database name whenever you are doing something like this. But this database function everyone is going to tell you to which database you are currently connected. Let me show you another way. If I would have been connected to some database, everyone, I would have been able to see certain tables here. But can you see, if I go and if I try to type show tables, my cursor is here, okay, and I will press Control Enter. Can you see everyone? You can see that there is some problem. Can you see this red mark here, red cross? So this red cross means there is certain problem with you. And the problem, if I want to show it to you, can you check it out? No database selected. Obviously, you can see that it is written like this, no database selected, because as I am not connected to any database at all, that is why it is showing me that, okay, you are not connected to any database. And how can you ask for showing tables? So it's not possible, right? So first of all, you need to connect to certain database, right? So you are not connected to any database right now. And that's why we are not able to see any output here, any table here. So see everyone, here in this case, whenever I see this green tick, it means that particular query is running fine. This green tick, fine. Now this is red cross. That means there was some problem. The problem was we are not connected to any database area, right? So anyway, how to connect to certain database, we'll talk about it. So at least understand everyone, this is one way to connect to MySQL database, or this is one platform where you can go and where you can write on MySQL queries or SQL queries. Another way everyone is, you can use that command line argument as well, right? This one, command line client. Can you see this? MySQL 8.0 command line client. So if I click on this, so I think everyone is able to see, right? It is asking me to enter password. Let me increase the font as well. Okay, so I think you can see, I will type the password in root, press enter, and I am connected to MySQL. Can you see here? MySQL prompt is what it is showing me, right? So fine, same thing, I can go and I can do it from here as well. Show databases. So you can see everyone, the same databases which I was able to see through this one, right? Same databases I am able to see it here. If I try to type, let's say, select database. So database is a function here even. There are different kinds of functions which are available in case of MySQL database. Database is a very simple function which I am trying to show it to you. Database is going to tell you to which database you are currently connected. So if I press enter, can you see everyone? It is showing me null. Same thing, whatever it was showing me in case of MySQL Workbench. Fine. That is why everyone, if I try to type show, so not here, show tables I already typed here. I will go and I will try to show here as well. So here also you will be able to see something similar, show tables. I am not connected to any database and I'm asking it to show tables. So can you see? No database selected. So that's why we need to connect to a database. Then only we'll be able to see certain tables. For example, now, and yeah, one more thing, everyone, those who have installed MySQL database, at least go and check it out on your machine as well. Those who have not installed MySQL database, at least for today, at least check it out even whatever I'm showing it to you. Okay. Later on, if you get any problems, don't worry, we'll connect one-to-one as well. That's not an issue. Okay. But for any one of you, if it is possible to go and to do all the things whatever I am showing, at least just make sure you go and you type. So see everyone here, or maybe from MySQL Workbench as well. I can select any database. So whatever the databases which are available, everyone, see this information schema. MySQL, Performance Schema, Cycle, Assist, and World. These are different databases. Let's suppose I want to connect to a database called as World database. This is just a name. It is by default present. We have not created any database. These were already present. So if I want to use any database, even the command is very simple. Just use is the keyword and then World. That is name of the database. So use space name of database. So can you see now everyone? It is showing me database changed. Same thing I could have done it from here as well. Use World semicolon control enter. Now can you see this particular query has run? This particular query has run successfully. Generally, I will prefer using this one everyone, this black screen, because you will be able to see the output very clearly here. That's why. If you want to use this one as well, you can definitely, no problem. Those who are very much new, everyone, I will recommend you go and use MySQL Workbench. One more thing, whatever we are typing here, everyone, whatever you are typing here, if someone wants to save, all these things, definitely you can go and you can save. Simple thing, everyone. Okay, just go here, click on this save script as or whatever you want. Let's say here, everyone, I will save the script with something like this. You can see where it is saved in documents. Okay, B88 is the name, .sql is the extension, everyone. And you will be able to see that with the name B88, that particular script is saved. You can see this, right? Or otherwise, if someone wants to copy all these things as well, that's possible here. Just go here. See, those who are aware about it, that is very good. Those who are not, that's why each and everything I am just talking about here. So just go here, click on the mark, and then select all these things here, whatever you want to copy, right? Once again, go here and then copy. Let's suppose I want to copy all these things for my reference, future reference. I'll go here in the notepad, click here, Control V, and you will be able to see each and everything along with the output. So now you decide what you need to do, everyone. Okay, those who think that, okay, later on I will need whatever is discussed during the session, so I also should have all those things along with me. So you go, you save it here, or you go and you try to do each and everything here. That's not an issue. You can follow any one of these things, either this command line or you can follow this MySQL Workbench. Any one is fine. Okay. Now let me show you a few things, Arian. As I was telling you, as I've shown you here, use and then database name, everyone. Now, if there are certain tables in the world database, then only I'll be able to see those tables. So let's say show tables. Now, can you see, everyone? Yes, there are 3 tables. There are 3 tables in this particular database. We have not created that particular database. That particular database was already created. So you can see that there is something like city, country, and country language. These are the 3 tables which were already there in that particular database. That is world. Now, if I want to see the data, anyway, we'll be talking about all these queries. Select star from. So I think many of you are aware about this select statement. Those who are not, don't worry. Those who are, that is good. Okay. Anyway, I'll be discussing about that. Select star from. Let's suppose, everyone, I will take this particular table, city. So can you see in the table named as city, there is a lot of data, everyone. You can check it out. Like there is huge data. You can say this. So what I've done is I am simply making use of the table which was by default present in case of MySQL database. That is, in world database, there was a city table, everyone. And in that table, you can see there is a lot of data. So this is a simple example which is by default here. But obviously, everyone, when we want to learn about all these different queries, we will not be going and will not be using all this data. We will not be using this many number of records initially. We will be using very simple data, everyone, just with 14 records. Why I will tell you, because it will help you to remember data. And if you remember data, if you know your data very well, everyone, it will always help you to understand and remember the syntaxes, functions, and each and everything properly. The key to remember or the key to frame the query in case of SQL, everyone, is Data. Data each and everyone should be knowing. That's why we'll be using very simple data, very small data, which will cover like all the possibilities of you. That's how we'll proceed. You can see there are like more than 4,000, right? 4,079 records are there. So if I check this out, if I want to check it out, which are the fields or the columns are even, you can see it here. So ID, name, country code, district, and the population. Right? So you have something like this. Right, so that's a simple data. How to create something like this, how to create table, how to insert data, and all those things everyone we'll try to talk about. Okay. But before going and talking about all these things, I will be discussing about few basic things, all of you, which will definitely help you every time. So see everyone, as I told you, those who are able to install MySQL database, that is fine. Those who are not, don't worry. That one you let me know. Maybe in one-to-one session we'll go and we'll talk about it. Okay. Otherwise, everyone, there's a very good website. You can always remember Stack Overflow. Many of you might be using it. So Stack Overflow is something where you'll be able to see that a lot of problems which we face in real time, you'll be able to see the solutions. Just whatever is the problem, you just copy that, paste it, and paste it in the Google and just write Stack Overflow. This will help you a lot, everyone. Because as I have also shown you in the installation, there is nothing as such you need to go and you need to configure manually, right? Everything is like you just go install the file, like download the file, double click on it, and install MySQL. Straightforward. Okay. So hope you will do that, everyone. So I want to start with SQL. But before that one, everyone, generally what we discuss about some basic things. Before going and talking about SQL, which stands for structured query language, let me talk about few things, everyone, which you will require not only for SQL, but later on as well, you will require it. Whether you talk about data science, data analytics, even machine learning, or business analytics or business intelligence in general, you will require all these terms, or even in databases as well, right? So I know that these are very basic terms, but they are important, everyone. So first thing, everyone, let me talk about data. Okay. Data is a very basic term which we use, like daily we use, right? Data. Many of you are already aware about it, everyone. But still, can you just tell me what do you think, everyone? Those who wants to answer. Can you tell me what is data? Maybe you can let me in the chat box. What is data? What do you think? Because there are certain terms, everyone, which we want to differentiate. I want to discuss about data, and I want to compare it with certain other things. And then we'll try to see why it is important and all those things we'll discuss. Information about something. Okay, fine. So combination of alphanumeric. Okay, Vedika is saying combination of alphanumeric. That is an example of data. Okay, it's not like the data should always be combination of alphanumeric only. It can be something different as well. It can be an image as well. It can be a video. It can be audio. It can be SMS. Right? It can be a tweet. It can be a Facebook post. Right? These are just examples. We want to understand data, even though it's a very basic term, but very important. Fine. Veena is saying information about something. Okay. So any other? If someone is experienced, someone is already aware about what is data, if it is easy for you, but still answer it, everyone. Okay, because maybe other people will also come to know. Facts, statistics that collected together for reference. So statistics that were collected for reference. That is something related. Those who said information, then tell me, everyone, what is information itself? If you say that data is information, then what is information? These are two different terms, right? Obviously, if someone is saying that data is information, I am not saying that it is wrong, but there is some difference, everyone. So what is information? All of you. Those who say data is information, that is right. Those who say it's fact taken for reference, yes, absolutely right. What is information? How will you define it? Meaningful data, yes, Vidika, that is information. Meaningful data, that is information. So, see everyone, people said, right, data is just a raw material. I would say that data is just a raw material. Information is, yes, processed data or meaningful data or cleaned data, right? Fine. So generally I talk about a very raw example, very basic, in a very layman way. If I talk about all these things, everyone, raw material, right? If someone is saying, for example, let's say something is in the shape of a cone, something is cold, and something is sweet. This is data, right? This is data, raw information. But that particular thing is called as an ice cream, is an information. Generally, I give this example. If someone is very much new to all these terms, even just to make them understand. So try to understand all of it. Data is just a raw material. Information is processed data. So our target is to always get an information from the data. Now, data is like, it can come in different formats. It is not like that data should always be in numbers, or it should always be in text, or it should always be in the form of a video or the image. It can be in different formats. Again, depending on the availability of the format of the data, everyone, it is again divided into different types. We'll talk about it. But I think you people are able to understand it. Most of you are already aware about it. Data is just raw material. Information is processed data. Again, what is database? All of you. This is the term which we have been using, right? I have been using that, okay, MySQL is a database. So what is database exactly? Anyone? What is database? Right, wrong, don't worry. Even if it is easy, try to answer. I told you step by step, we'll try to talk about it. Database is what, everyone? Fine. So I think I am getting certain answers. So collection of data in the structured form of rows and columns, fine. Okay, Ashwini madam is saying electronic data, fine. Vedika is saying set of data, right? So every answer is right, everyone. Okay, I mean model is saying collection of related data. So yes, that term related is very important. So overall, people are saying that this database is a collection of data, right? Someone has said that database is nothing but structured data, rows and columns. So I would say collection of related data, right? Database is nothing but collection of related data. So generally this related term is important, everyone. Let's talk about a simple data, which is in the form of rows and columns. Just now we have seen, right? Just now we have seen the data, something like this one. So this is a related data in the form of rows and columns, right? We call that kind of a data, everyone, as a relational data. A relation in database terminology always means table. In simple words, relation in database terminology always means table. So database, everyone, is a collection of related data, right? So I think you people are able to understand it. So for example, all of you, like as we have seen that MySQL is a database. But now, is there only MySQL? No, there are different databases. Now you might have heard about Oracle. You might have heard about something like MongoDB, right? Then there are different databases here. Postgres, right? PostgreSQL is there, and so on. Even you can have some databases which will work with big data, right? You have some storage systems as well, something like Hadoop. We have something like Pig. Then HBase is a column-oriented database. Hive is also there, so which work with big data. So I'm not saying that you should know about all these things, but they are there. There are certain lightweight databases as well, something like SQL Lite 3, right? So you might be aware about SQL Server as well. So these are all the different databases. Out of this, let's suppose I'll be making use of MySQL, because most of these databases, like almost all the databases, everyone, you will see that they are going to make use of MySQL. If some of them, they are not going to make use of MySQL, but one thing is for sure that they will need something similar to MySQL. For example, MongoDB. MongoDB will not, like MySQL will, like SQL, you will not be able to use on some database like MongoDB. But yes, if you know SQL, you can learn how to deal with MongoDB kind of a database. Again, it's also easy. MongoDB is a key value pair kind of a database. But if someone is aware about SQL, yes, he or she can easily learn how to go and how to query MongoDB database as well. Okay. So see, all of you, these are all the different databases which are related in some sense. Like as I told you, MySQL is a relational database. It is a relational database. Oracle is a relational database. Relation means what? Relation in database terminology means table. So the databases which store data in the form of rows and columns or table, we call them as RDBMS databases. That is relational databases. MongoDB is not a RDBMS database. MongoDB is document-oriented database. And MongoDB follows JSON kind of a documentary, JavaScript object notation. It stores data in the form of key value pair. It stores data in the form of key and value pair, something like this one here. Key and value pair. Let's suppose I want to store name. So name will be stored like this. So again, there is an advantage of storing the data in this particular fashion. So if you are going to work in the fields of business intelligence, data analytics, or data science, definitely you might come across different data sources. So MongoDB is a very common data source, even generally used in case of sensors data. There is an advantage that, okay, it has a high velocity. Velocity is nothing but speed. But it doesn't mean that other databases are not good, even it totally depends on the situation. Okay, so I'm just giving an example of databases. That's why I'm talking about it. So MongoDB is a column. MongoDB is basically a document-oriented database. Okay, and other databases like MySQL, Oracle, and all those things, they are relational databases because they store data in the form of rows and columns. Fine. So now you understood the meaning of data, information, and database, right? So I think maybe again this also you might be knowing, everyone. Now, can you answer this one, everyone? Let's suppose I have a file, a text file. In that particular text file, there are, let's say, IDs and the name. Okay, something like this. Let's say marks also are there. Student ID, name of the student, and let's suppose the marks scored. So let's suppose we have, everyone, we have something like this, 1,000 records we have. Okay, so this is a file, let's say abc.csv file. CSV, I think you know, everyone, right? CSV stands for comma separated value. CSV file format is the file format which we generally deal with a lot of time in real time. Comma separated value. Okay, so this is a CSV file. So let's suppose, everyone, we have a CSV file which is having ID of the student, name of the student, and marks of the student. Now, can I say that it's a database, all of you? Can I say that this abc.csv is a database, everyone? Right? Fine. Because collection of related data. This particular data is related somehow. Similarly, everyone, if I would have abc.xlsx, an Excel file, I can also say that it's a database. So this is also a database. This is also a database. If I have abc.tsv, I hope many of you might have used it. Tab separated value. So this is also a database. See, many people might be using CSV files, comma separated values. But let me tell you, everyone, by default, the separator or the delimiter in those files is comma. It can be anything other than that. Let's say I can have something like this, 10, Then there's a pipe. Okay, this is a pipe everyone. Then Sachin, and then let's suppose 45. So instead of this comma, I can go and I can replace that with other delimiter or separator as well. But the thing is that that should be unique in the entire file. Otherwise, this also could have been CSV files. It is called as CSV because by default, the delimiter is comma. That's why. Okay, otherwise it can be anything. So everyone see abc.csv is a database, abc.xlsx is a database, TSV is also a database, abc.tsv is also a database everyone. So that is why I'm just talking about a very simple definition of database everyone. Database is nothing but what? It's a collection of related data. That particular data is related somehow. Okay, so I hope it is making sense to everyone, specifically for those like who are new to all these things. Next thing everyone, after data, information and database, let me talk about something called as data warehouse. So I'm just going introducing all these basic terms one by one. So what is data warehouse? Anyone? Those who are already aware about it or those who have used it. What is data warehouse? Anyone? Historical data means what? Large databases which stores historical data, right? Okay. So see everyone, talking about something like data warehouse is again important because most of the times you will see that we are going to deal with data warehouses in real time, specifically talking about business intelligence domain or something like even data science as well, or something like machine learning, data analytics, business analytics as well. We are going to deal with data warehouse. So try to understand everyone, data warehouse, as some people are saying that it stores historical data. Yes, that is right. But I can say that data warehouse is also a database. Data warehouse is also a database, but there are certain differences everyone. For example, always remember, whenever I say database, okay, and data warehouse, always remember these differences. Database stores current data. Okay, and as people said that data warehouse stores historical data or older data. For example, OLTP is the best example of database and OLAP is the best example of data warehouse. See everyone, as I told you, most of the times, like you will see that we are going to deal with data warehouse. We are going to deal with historical data, older data. Because here we will be learning from like historical data. We want machines to learn from historical data. We want to get some insights to make some decisions or predictions, right? So see all of you, database stores current data, data warehouse stores historical data. The best example of database is OLTP and the best example of data warehouse is OLAP. OLTP stands for what? Online analytical processing. Online analytical processing. Sorry, online analytical processing is this one, OLAP. So online transaction processing. Online transaction processing. OLTP stands for online transaction processing and OLAP stands for online analytical processing. Now the example of OLTP, everyone, there are a lot of examples. Online transaction processing, right? Let's say online railway reservation, online airplane ticket booking, Phone Pay, Google Pay, Book My Show. Everywhere out of all these examples, you will see that what's happening, current data is stored, right? Or even see, suppose if you are going to book airplane ticket, what are you going to do is you are going to put the passengers details. That's current data. That's a current data, right? That data will go into database. Whatever the application which is there, whatever the front end which you are able to see, there you are going to enter some data. So that data will go into database. That is current data. That is nothing but current data. So database stores current data. Data warehouse stores historical data. The best example of data warehouse, everyone, is like, if I want to give you, see what's going to happen. Let's say if I take an example of if I take an example of a database as a, uh, let's say if you go to the ATM, let's suppose, if you do transaction, whenever you go to the ATM and if you do some transaction, let's say you will insert the card, you will put some details and you will enter the amount, and and like whatever the amount you want to withdraw, you will withdraw, and everything you will complete, right? That's a transaction. Set of instructions is nothing but transaction. Now see everyone, whatever you are going to enter, that data will go into database at that time. Whatever is the application which is running in the backend, or whatever the database which is there in the backend, there you will be able to see that there that current data will go. But depending on the policy of that particular organization, bank or company, that data, that current data which is there, maybe that data will go to data warehouse after maybe let's say 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 1 month, depending on the policy of that particular organization. Now, why to move the data from database to data warehouse? Obviously, there are different reasons here. The first and the basic reason is that if your database is getting full, obviously your application will not work properly. That's why many times you might have seen that in front of the ATM, if you go, maybe sometimes ATMs are like they are not working, or some server is down, something like that, or some work is going on, right? So maybe one of the reasons might be that sometimes because of some reasons, maybe the database has reached beyond the threshold limit. So maybe they might be moving the data from database to data warehouse. So it's not your job to go and to move the data from database to data warehouse. There are other people who do that. I'm just trying to tell you the things. So I'm trying to give an example where database is used and where data warehouse is used. Data warehouse is nothing different than database. It is database only. But data warehouse stores historical data and database stores current data. So I am trying to tell you why to move the data from database to data warehouse. Because it's simple thing, right? If your RAM is going to get full, everyone, your machine is going to get slow. If the memory gets full, something similar. So that's why for applications to work properly, everyone, there should be memory, right? So data should be moved from database to data warehouse. And obviously other reasons are like what? Whatever the data which is generated, that data might be utilized for decision making in the future. That's also another reason. That data might be used for training the machines. Like that's what happens in case of machine learning. In case of machine learning, we want our machines to learn from historical data. So you need historical data. You need data. That's why data from database will be moved to data warehouse. So I think it makes sense, right? So database stores current data, data warehouse stores historical data. Then talking about other differences, obviously everyone, you will see that the database size is smaller as compared to data warehouse. As in case of data warehouse, lot of data is getting stored, everyone. So that's why you will see that the size is larger, right? As compared to database. As compared to database, the size of data warehouse is larger. Otherwise, everyone, you will see that like database is data warehouse is database only. Or you can remember, right? It's a very simple term, all of it. Data warehouse. So as like in our homes as well, we have warehouses. What do we put in warehouse? We put such things which we do not require on regular basis. Those things we put in data warehouse. Whenever we require, we fetch it, we take it, right? So database and data warehouse. Obviously, there are other differences as well. One can go, one can like find it out. right? But just to make you understand why data warehouse, where are we going to need it? So definitely like almost all the time, everyone, you will see that we are going to require data warehouse. So I hope that is clear. If someone wants to add something to this, definitely you can, because I think some of you are already experienced even. So definitely you can add, or whatever is the question you have, you can always ask those questions as well. I'm talking about very basic things, right? So in between, if someone wants to add something, definitely you can let me know. I think I already given you the access for chat, right? I think I already given. I think unmute access is also given, but let me remove it. Yes, in between, if someone wants to unmute as well, just let me know in the chat box. Okay. So data, information, database, data warehouse. Then talking about something called as DBMS. Again, many of you are already aware about this. Those who already read about it, those who already attended the sessions, maybe definitely they are aware about it, right? But those who are not, for them, let's see this particular term, DBMS. So what is DBMS, anyone? DBMS is what, according to you, what do you understand by DBMS? What is the meaning of DBMS? I know it's very basic thing, but still try to just put your answers. Okay, so Vina, what am I saying? Database. Okay. Data management service. Basically, like, it's data management system. Okay. But I'm not asking you that. Everyone knows DBMS stands for data management system. It's a full form. I'm not asking full form. I'm asking you the meaning. What is the meaning of DBMS? Full form everyone knows. Now don't tell me that data DBMS is nothing but a system which manages data. Obviously, everyone understands that, right? Because from the full form only one can go and one can frame that. DBMS is database management system. It means the system which manages data. Everyone knows that. But I am not asking you that. I am not asking you full form. Full form everyone knows. I am asking you, what is it? Some of you might have heard me, or some of you might have heard me talking about all those things, right? Yes, it's a software. Simple thing, right? DBMS is nothing but what? It is just a software, right? But let me tell you, whatever you are saying, it is software for creating and managing data. Okay, so software for doing different operations, right? So it's a very simple thing, everyone. DBMS is just a software. Okay, software is collection of programs. Program is a collection of instructions. And instruction is nothing but collection of zeros and ones. And zeros and ones is nothing but machine language. Machine language is what machine understands. So software is a collection of programs. Program is a collection of instructions. Instruction is nothing but collection of zeros and ones. So DBMS is a software. That means what, everyone? That means DBMS can be developed. But developing DBMS is a cumbersome task. It's a time-consuming task. Everyone. That's why there are very few companies which will work with the development of DBMS. Okay, database management system. So it is something like this one, everyone. See, there is a hardware, right? Computer hardware. On the top of hardware, you have another software, and that is nothing but operating system. Like Windows, which you are using, everyone. Let's say Linux, or different flavors of Linux, or Mac, or any other thing. So hardware is there. On top of hardware, there is operating system. And on top of this one, everyone, like in our case, just now we installed MySQL. So there are different databases. So this is the scenario all of you. Hardware, on top of that, your operating system. On top of operating system, your databases. And here is the user. Right? Now this user wants to access this database, or this user wants to query the data from this database, or this user wants to manipulate the data or work with the data which is present in this particular database. Now, to do all those things, everyone, there is a software which is required, and that is nothing but DBMS. That is the reason why we are talking about something like DBMS. There is software which will be required, and that is DBMS. So this is how the things are arranged. But again, as a user, you cannot directly talk with database through DBMS. You will require some way of communication, right? Like as a human, everyone, we are able to communicate through English like language. So there's a need of something, some language, and that's where even SQL is going to come into picture. So as a user, one can communicate with the database through DBMS by making use of a language like SQL or structured query language. So that's where everyone, all these things are going to come into picture. As I told you, all of you, these are like, see, these are not new terms. Whatever we have discussed till this point, even these are not new terms. Even one can say that those terms were already there even before invention of the computers. Like when there were no computers, people were making use of notebooks or books to store data. So that's a database. People were making use of something like pen or some other things to write down in the notebook, right? Or to rough, insert, update, delete, something like that. We are going to see later on, everyone. So they were able to make use of some devices to insert data, to write down data, to rough it, to clean it, to update it. So pen, let's suppose. Instead of SQL in terms of computers, instead of SQL, even here, let's suppose humans were making use of some native languages like English or Hindi or whatever it is, right? So can you see, everyone? These are basically nothing. There is nothing new. It is just that with the invention of computers, they have named them as DBMS, database, and something like that. Otherwise, as a human, we have been already using it, right? I'm just trying to correlate it. That's it. Just trying to correlate the things. So that like later on, you should be able to go explore and understand the things easily. So I'm not expecting that you should know this or that. Those who are aware about it, obviously for them, these are very basic things. That's why have some patience. One by one, we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is the scenario here. Why are we talking about DBMS? Because yes, we will be using it directly, indirectly, definitely. You are going to make use of DBMS. It is because of DBMS only, everyone, that you will be getting certain errors. If you are not writing down the queries properly, definitely, everyone, you are going to face some errors. Syntax errors you are going to face, right? So depending on the rules which were already defined while designing DBMS, depending on those rules only, you'll be able to see that there are certain errors here. So that's how the things are going to work. I hope it is making sense to all of you. So DBMS, everyone, is a software. Now, if you are clear about DBMS, now I think you already know, everyone, what is RDBMS. DBMS, we have seen that it's a software. R in RDBMS is nothing but what? R is nothing but relational. And I told you already, everyone, relation in database terminology means table. So RDBMS means what? RDBMS means what, everyone? Relational DBMS, right? But means what? So in simple words, I can say that RDBMS is nothing but the DBMS which deals with tabular data, right? Like MySQL, Oracle, right? These are RDBMS databases. Any other database, anyone aware about? Like, are you aware about any other database which is RDBMS as database? Let's say MongoDB is not a RDBMS database here. MongoDB stores data in the form of key and value pair. Like one example I already given you. So other than MySQL and Oracle, any other database, anyone? Can you just go on listing the database here? Oracle, yes, we already told. DB2, developed by IBM. RDBMS database. Any other? PostgreSQL, even, is it RDBMS database? If by chance, if someone is aware about Microsoft SQL Server, yes, it's RDBMS database, SQL Server. MS Access, what about it in MS Access? Is it not a database? Have you used it? Right? Teradata, you can make use of for like generally used for big data, everyone. Right? This is also RDBMS database. So the database, so the databases which deal with tabular data, everyone, those are RDBMS databases. So now the thing is that it's going to happen that you are not going to deal with only tabular data. You might be dealing with different other databases as well. So it totally depends on what is your data source. It depends on that one, everyone. Right? See, most of the times, like if you are clear about what the data you have, everyone, all these things are going to help you a lot. Yes, in real time, maybe you will see that you will be connected to certain cloud, and on that cloud there might be some databases or databases there, and then you are going to fetch that data. Sometimes you might be having the data on your on the server, and from that you are going to fetch that particular data. So obviously, everyone, there are different data sources which you might come across in real time. That is for sure going to happen. So definitely, yes, you can make use of RDS as well, Amazon RDS. There are different databases. Redshift is also there, right? So you don't have to like you don't need to know about all these things anymore. You understand one or two databases properly. You should know SQL, and you can definitely explore. Always remember, one cannot learn everything. But SQL is something important. Why? Because in every JD you talk about, in every job description that you talk about, you will see that SQL is a very common skill. Even though sometimes you might not be getting the direct job in SQL, but you will see that the concepts are always required. That's why it's very common, and it's very important of you. Okay, so I hope that is making sense to everyone. RDBMS is nothing but relational DBMS. Now, if that is clear, everyone, data information database, data warehouse, DBMS, RDBMS. Now there is something called as data mining as well. Okay, so obviously if one goes one if one tries to find out the meaning of data mining, definitely you will see that there are a lot of standard definitions available in the books or maybe on the internet. Right, but the point of discussing something like data mining is that directly or indirectly, everyone, you will see that we are going to make use of data mining, or at least the concept. So data mining, like this kind of a term, you can see it's coming from something like coal mining or gold mining. So what happens there, even we are like whatever is important, only those things are taken. In short, obviously, as I said, there are a lot of standard definitions possible for data mining, but in short, even I can say that I can define data mining like this: pattern matching. Okay, data mining, I will call it as pattern matching. So what's going to happen is, if you need something, right, you need to query according to that, and it will be searched in the database or the data warehouse. And depending on the matching, the obviously most matched result will be shown to you. This particular term, data mining, is very closely related to machine learning. Or I can say that machine learning makes use of data mining. So data mining, in short, even is nothing but pattern matching. There will be certain pattern which will be given to you, and that will be matched in the database. So obviously, how to do that? For that, you might be using certain tools or maybe SQL queries, or there are different ways depending on your data. Okay, so data information database, data warehouse, DBMS, RDBMS, and data mining. Are all these things clear, anyone? Any doubt? Anything anyone wants to add? Is there any problem with the speed? Maybe fast or slow? Is it fine till this point, everyone? Because like whatever you will be saying, it's important, right? Accordingly, we'll move everyone. Others? Okay. Okay. Others, is it fine till this point? See, like if you let me know, then only I will come to know, right? I told you already, I will be talking about very basic things. You can see that even though some of them, they already installed MySQL database, but still we have again installed it even. Right? So 1, 2, 3. So how can I take it for others? I hope it's fine for you as well, even others. Vedika data mining, I can give you example. Google Photos is the best example of data mining. Google Photos, right? On your smartphone, if you are clicking a selfie, that selfie will be stored where you have other selfies in your database. If you take a photo with your family, that photo will go in the location where other family photos are there. That is data mining. Image scrapers are also examples of data mining. Image web scrapers. There are certain search engines to which you give an image as an input, it will give the output. Data mining. Are you getting my point? Okay, fine. So I hope those who have not replied, I hope it's fine for them as well. Okay, finally. So with all these terms now, let me talk about certain other things as well. For example, let's say, as we have seen, like we started our discussion with the term data itself, right? So see everyone, there are like obviously, like, as we will be talking about SQL even, so we are going to talk about the data which is in the form of tables most of the times. But sometimes you are definitely going to come across different types of data. So let me just put a light on this particular term as well, types of data. So obviously, many of you might have come across different types of data, or maybe again, this also you might be knowing about it even. Those who are not aware about types of data, everyone see structured data. Okay. So maybe many of you might have guessed, as there is structured data, so obviously there is unstructured data. Okay. Or before that one, everyone, before unstructured data, there is something called as semi-structured data. Let me just show you examples as well. Okay. So there is something called as structured data, semi-structured data. Then there is one more even. Basically, when you try to search on the internet, maybe if you read in the books as well, you will see that generally there are 3 types. But to be more precise, everyone will add on 4 types. There is something called as quasi-structured data as well. Okay. So structured data, semi-structured data, quasi-structured data, and now here I will add on unstructured data. So as I told you, you will be dealing with something like data analytics, business intelligence, business analytics. Maybe you might be using certain tools, some languages, maybe SQL you might be using. So definitely you might come across different types of data. Structured data, as the name suggests, everyone, the data which is in the form of tables. Okay, the data which is in the form of tables or tabular data, everyone, is structured data. Simple thing, right? The data which is in the form of tables is nothing but structured data. Rows and columns, as simple as that. Okay, columns are also called as fields. They are also called as attributes. Remember these terms. Remember. Rows are also called as tuples. This you might be knowing about. Okay, rows or tuples or records. So structured data is nothing but the data which is in the form of tables is structured data. Tabular data, right? Now, which are the databases which work with structured data? We already see MySQL, Oracle, DB2, right? SQL Server, and so on. Those are all the databases which work with tabular data or structured data. But as I told you, it's not going to happen that every time you are going to get structured data. Maybe you might be coming across different types of data. Let's say semi-structured. The best example of semi-structured data is XML database or XML data or HTML data is the best example of semi-structured data. Let me show you everyone. See how the semi-structured data looks like. For example, let's say, let me clear this. Semi-structured data viewer. Let's suppose I will go to, let's say, Flipkart website or any data you talk about, any website you talk about. Let's say Flipkart. So if I go to this first result, first page, now see everyone. Here you can see, right? Like there are different things, or maybe I can take this page, or maybe let's say I will search for something like iPhone. So you can see everyone, this is also data, right? This image is a data, this something like Apple iPhone 13, whatever it is written, this is also data. So what is semi-structured data basically? If I go on this page, let's say I will click on this particular result, first result. All these are nothing but data, right? So if I want to see how this particular data is stored, or let's say I want to know how all these reviews and ratings are stored. So this great product is a heading given, right? It's a comment heading. This is the whole comment of the customer. And Amrit Deka is the name of the customer. He has given 5 ratings. So I want to understand how this particular data is stored, in what format. Flipkart kind of a website is trying to store that. I want to understand that. So what I will do, everyone, I'll right click here. Okay. And maybe you might be knowing, if you go and if you click here and go to inspect, it will show you everything, how each and everything is stored. So you can see everyone. Whatever, like I want to understand, let's say how this comment is stored, right? So what I will do, everyone, what I will do here is I will click on this arrow, this one. Now I will hover my mouse here, right? Can you see this? This is highlighting. Just take it out. I'll click on this, and here I'll be able to see how that particular data is stored. Can you check this out, everyone? See this? So if you look at it carefully, maybe those who join from their laptop, if you look this one, again, the same data, I'm able to see it here in this HTML code, HTML, XML, whatever that website is developed in. So see, this is the code. So in this, I have this data. So this is an example of semi-structured data. Can you see? This is HTML, percentage doc type HTML. It's a HTML document. So this is an example of HTML data. Let's suppose I want to understand how this 5 is stored. I will go here. I will click on this, how this 5 rating is stored. Can you see, everyone? This 5 is stored like this. So it is stored in something called as tags. This greater than, less than sign is called as tags. Inside these tags, everyone, you have some class names. Okay. So this is basically syntax of XML, HTML. XML, HTML tags, we write it down like this. So my point is that the data which is having certain structure, the data which is having, or the data where you have code as well as structure, even that kind of data is called as semi-structured data. So the example, that's why which I've given you, everyone, the example of this semi-structured data is nothing but XML data or HTML data. Okay, I think you people are able to understand my point here. XML database, HTML database are nothing but what? The examples of semi-structured data. Okay, these are nothing but the examples of semi-structured data. I hope that is clear. Because there you have data as well as code. You have data as well as code. Now coming to the next thing, everyone, quasi-structured data. See, quasi-structured data, I can say it is unstructured data only. Let me tell you here itself. Otherwise, people will say that, okay, quasi-structured data is unstructured data. Yes, it is. Quasi-structured data is one type of unstructured data only, I can say. But to be more precise, even if I want to give an example of quasi-structured data, the best example for this one is clickstream data. Okay. Quasi-structured data, the example is clickstream data. Now, what do you mean by that? See, everyone, I will show you an example. Maybe same example I can go and I can show it to you. Clickstream data is an example of quasi-structured data. Why? So here, let's suppose if I go to Flipkart website once again. Now, can you see in the address bar here what is written? https://www.flipkart.com, right? So if I try to search for Flipkart, if I click on this, everyone, can you check the contents of the address bar? The contents of the address bar are changed. So I'll copy this. I'll copy it. I'll get it to the notepad, let's say, and I will paste that link, whatever it was. Okay, enter. Then I am on the Flipkart, like I am on this particular page where I am able to see a lot of results. I will click on the first result. As soon as I clicked on the first result, everyone, can you see something like this is there in the address bar? I will copy this. I'll go to the notepad and I'll paste it. Control V. Right? Enter. Once again, I will go here. Now here I am able to see a lot of different results. So let's suppose even I will click on any of these. Let's say I will click on this one, electronics. Okay. I'll click on this. So here I am able to see all these things. And let's say I will go to all. Can you see there is a change in the address bar even? I will go here, I will copy this. Right? So the point of telling you this one is that whenever I am clicking on some link, on some page, there is certain data which is generated in the address bar everyone. So this data is a clickstream data. That clickstream data is an example of quasi-structured data. Now, maybe someone might be having a question, okay, something like this, if it is there, everyone, then where can we make use of something like this kind of a data? Where can we make use of clickstream data? So you can make use of clickstream data for like many purposes, everyone. Let us suppose, let's say I have this kind of a data. Okay, let's suppose there are different machines which are connected to one big server. There are, let's say, 20 machines connected to one server. Okay, now whatever people are searching who are connected to that particular server, whatever the people are searching, people means like whenever someone is making use of some machine, so obviously each machine is represented with an IP address, unique IP address, even internet protocol, right? So I want to make an analysis in such a way that I want to understand which types of websites a particular person is visiting most number of times. Particular person means a particular person from a particular machine with a specific IP address. So I want to understand which type of a website a person has visited how many number of times, or which type of website is visited most number of times by the people who are connected to certain network or internet. I want to make an analysis like that. So there, everyone, I can make use of clickstream data. Okay, this is just an example. So clickstream data is also big data, I can say. The data which is being generated on clicks is a clickstream data, and that is an example of a quasi-structured data, everyone. I hope it makes sense to all of you. Okay. If not, just let me know in the chat box. Fine. Clickstream data is an example of quasi-structured data. And now I think you know these things. What are the examples of unstructured data? The data which is not in the tabular form, obviously, most of the times you will see that it is going to be unstructured data. For example, even image data is an unstructured data, right? Or audio data is an unstructured data. Or video data is an unstructured data. Let's say SMS, unstructured data, email, unstructured data. You can have Facebook data, unstructured data, right? Or in general, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube, all these are nothing but where unstructured data or social media in general, I can say. Social media data is an unstructured data, like image and all those things, right? So you can see that all of you data basically is divided into these four types, like basically three, but to be more precise, everyone, you can remember them like this. So structured data, semi-structured data, quasi-structured data, and unstructured data. This is how the data is divided into different types. And I hope all these types are clear to all of you. Is it clear, everyone? Anyone any question? Any doubt, anyone? Just let me know. You can take time, let me know. Is it fine till this point, everyone? Like talking about types of data, I am saying. I hope everyone is able to understand that. Okay, fine. Okay. So structured, semi-structured, quasi-structured, and unstructured type of data, everyone. These are the different types of data. Maybe you might come across. Okay. So as we will be discussing about something like SQL, so in case of that one, everyone, you will definitely see that we are going to come across structured data many times. But as I told you, sometimes it might happen that you might need the data from such sources which are not structured, which are not having structured data. So in that case, definitely you need to fetch it, and maybe sometimes you need to make use of certain tools which will help you to get or fetch that particular data. Always it's not going to happen that you are going to get structured data. Try to understand that. Okay. Something like SQL is a structured query language. But still, even if you might not be dealing with structured data, many times, even as I told you, why SQL is important, because even if you might be dealing with big data as well, let's say you might have heard about something called a Hadoop. Now, if I'm mentioning it doesn't mean that you should know it. Okay. So something like Hadoop is a framework, everyone, which is used for big data. So Hadoop is basically used for big data, for storing as well as processing of big data. So now this basically is used for storing unstructured data mostly. Now, if you want to go and if you want to query the data which is stored in Hadoop, to store data, big data, everyone, Hadoop makes use of Hadoop distributed file system. So the data which is stored in Hadoop, if you want to access that, now you cannot use SQL directly, but you can use something similar to SQL. So to access the data from Hadoop with the help of something similar to SQL, everyone, there is something called as Hive SQL, or Hive QL, we call it as Hive QL, which is similar to SQL. So that's why if you know SQL, definitely you can deal with the data which is not structured data. Even if it is big data, you will be able to deal with that data as well with the help of something like, I'm giving you an example, everyone. Okay, Hive, you need to go, like, obviously all these things will be already done, like if you need to work. So the person like big data engineer, maybe they will go and they will try to do the configuration between Hadoop and Hive, and then you will be able to fetch the data from the Hadoop with the help of Hive QL, which is similar to SQL. That's why, everyone, learning about something like SQL is always going to be helpful, even if you might not be dealing with something like RDBMS databases. That's why it's very, very important. I hope you are getting my point. Okay. So Hadoop, HBase, Hive, Peak, Kafka, Spark, all these things are nothing but part of big data. Don't confuse it. If someone is telling you that, okay, you should know this or that, don't worry about it. You will be able to connect to different data sources as well. That's not a problem, everyone. Because those things will be already ready. Okay, just try to focus on what you should learn so that whatever the field in which you are looking out for the job, you should be good at it. Otherwise, there are a lot of things to study. Right? In case of big data courses, we go and we talk about something like Spark, Kafka, HBase, Hive, Pig, Hadoop, whole Hadoop ecosystem also we talk about. Even that's completely another part. I am talking about these things as well because I've seen people, they are worrying about all those things. You don't have to worry about it. Even whatever we'll be discussing, it will be sufficient enough. From your end, you just make sure that you go and you try to practice. Okay, that thing you make sure even. Fine. Now coming to that SQL even, as you know that there are different categories, right? So whenever I say structured query language, so this thing I want everyone to remember. I'm just writing it down. DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language. These are the SQL statement categories. DCL, data control language. Then there is something called as TCL, transaction control language, and DQL, data query language. So see all of you talking about something like DDL. Which statements are there? I want each and every one of you to remember this. If someone is aware about it, that is good. Those who are not, remember this. Create, alter, drop, truncate, and rename. Okay. These are the statements, everyone, which come under DDL, data definition language. Data manipulation language, insert, update, delete. I will tell you where you will need or where you will need all these things. Like why I am asking you to remember all these things. I have seen people, they don't know even the categories of the SQL statements as well. So you should know this one, everyone, and which kind of SQL, which kind of a statement comes under which category, everyone should be aware about. Insert, update, delete, merge is also there, but not in case of this MySQL. In case maybe those who have used Oracle, they might have seen merge as well. Data control language, anyone? Something like grant and revoke you have. And then there is something called as transaction control language. That is nothing but commit, rollback. There is something like save point also. Okay. We will see. We'll try to see the differences between all these things. And then yes, definitely select is going to come in data query language. Okay, DQL. Data query language. What we will be doing, everyone, we'll be starting with this particular statement only. Like maybe we can start with something like create, alter, drop. But everyone, we'll try to talk about certain clauses first, functions first, and then at the end we'll come to this DDL, DML, DCL. We will create some data initially, very simple data, very common data used in trainings. I told you already the data is going to be very simple because I want you to remember that particular data so that it should help you to remember the syntaxes of the queries, whatever we'll be discussing. That's why we'll be using very simple data initially. I will be sharing some file with you. I will tell you how to create those tables and everything inside the database. I want you to remember that whole data, like 13, 14 records, whatever it may be, everyone should be able to remember that because that is the thing which is going to make the things easier for you. Okay. And after this point onwards, as I told you already that I want each and every one of you, like, you should know this: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, DQL. DDL, create, alter, drop, truncate, rename. DML, insert, update, delete. DCL, grant and revoke. TCL, commit and rollback. And then DQL, select. Each one of you should be knowing about these statements. After this, it should not happen that, okay, I don't remember or something like that. I want each and every one of you to remember this. I told you already, if you find out that, okay, there's a need to go and to have some notes, running notes, something like that, definitely you can have. That will help you everyone to revise. When you will start for the interviews, I will tell you, whatever you will be taking down, like in short, just take it out. In your own language, you write down. Right now, today, you have seen that we are talking about very basic things. Those are like very simple things, very basic things, but important. In that too, as well, if someone feels that, okay, I should note down, you note it down, everyone, even if it is basic. Session wise, you go on noting down everything, because that is the thing which will help you when you will prepare for the interviews. Even though right now you might be feeling that, okay, it's very easy, but when it comes for the preparation, everyone, then you have very less time, right? So having each and everything in your own words, it's always going to help you. From my end, I'll be sharing each and everything. But from your end, also, you should make sure that you should have the things with you, so that it will make the things faster. It will help you to revise the things faster. I hope you are getting my point. If you feel it's necessary, go and do that. I will recommend if you do it. Otherwise, it's your choice. Okay. So till this point, anyone any doubt? Till this point, anyone any doubt? Those who are not able to install it, maybe don't worry. Later on, like tomorrow, maybe just let me know, everyone. We can go and we can have a one-to-one session, because I think for installation, we should not waste time now. Maybe we can have one-to-one session. That's not a problem. Just let me know, maybe in the evening or maybe late after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock as well. If you let me know, that's also fine. Okay. By chance, if someone is getting error or someone will get error by chance, just let me know. We'll connect. But once it is installed, like, you don't have to worry about it. Everyone. You already seen the process, right? It's straightforward. Installing MySQL is straightforward. Okay. Okay. Can you let me know, everyone? Is it fine till this point? Everyone, is it fine till this point? Or whatever is the problem regarding anything? Audio, video, voice, speed, language, whatever it may be, please let me know. Okay, it's fine for everyone, it seems, right? So fine, that is good. But I told you already, like for some of you, these might be very basic things, but fine, step by step we will go, we'll talk about. Okay, fine, everyone. I think it is good with everyone. Okay. One more point, everyone. See, let's say today's session's recording, you will be getting it. Maybe today only I will share, or tomorrow early morning you will get. Okay, I will try to share it today only. I will just put it on the drive. I will share the link of the drive with you, and you will be getting the recordings there. Okay, initial recordings, maybe I will put it onto maybe my YouTube channel, initial recordings, and then we'll ship to the drive area. Okay, that is clear, I hope. Okay. Fine then, everyone. I think for today this is enough. We'll talk about the remaining things. In the coming session, we'll create database, we'll create tables, and then we'll start with the clauses, queries, and certain other statements. Fine. So that's it for today, everyone. We'll meet in the next session. I hope everyone knows this. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. These are the days, everyone, on which there will be sessions. If required, we will go with extra sessions. As and when it is required, I'll be informing you. Okay. 7 to 9 is the time. Fine. Fine then, everyone. Thank you, all of you. We'll meet in the next session then. Just make sure that you have all these things ready at your end. Okay. Thank you, all of you then. I will stop here for today.